The Vegas Golden Knights have really taken off to a hot start to the 2022-23 NHL season. Currently sitting at 4-2 through the first 2 weeks of the NHL season. It seems like they kind of have a lot of things going for them so far. So, what I want to talk about in this video is what they've been doing well through the first 2 weeks of this NHL season and kind of how I think that they can build upon that, and just talking about game by game and kind of what we've realized through these things. So through the first 2 weeks of the season, the Vegas Golden Knights sit at 4-2 and are third in the West, which, as we all remember last year, they ended up falling all the way down to the ninth seed in the West last year. And currently sitting at third is definitely a big upgrade, but as we all know, it is very early in the season and a lot of things could change. We saw something similar last year where Vegas was number one in the entire West for some time there before falling out of the playoffs. So we can't get too high, but it is something good to kind of talk about here. With so many good things going for the Vegas Golden Knights, it's time that we talk about some of the big things that Vegas should try to carry on into the rest of the season to see an effective year. So if you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. And, it means the world to me when you guys do that. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the, deep dive into everything. So first things first I want to talk about is we're seeing a lot of high-level goalie play. So far, we have seen Logan Thompson start 4 of the 6 games that the Vegas Golden Knights have played so far, with Adin Hill claiming the other 2 games of the year. Vegas has started the year great defensively and in goal, coming up with some huge saves. And although defensively, as in like the players on the ice, not the goalie, they haven't been phenomenal, but the fact is, for a goalie to be playing so well, the defense has to be giving them some help, and honestly, they've been doing enough. Hopefully that defense can improve a little bit, but the goalie play has honestly been quite phenomenal, to say the least. They've held all 6 teams throughout this entire year to less than 3 goals. All 6 of them to less than 3, or right at 3, actually, I should say. And they're averaging a 2.17 goals against average, which is third in the entire league as of day of recording, which is the 23rd of October. But they currently sit at third in the entire league in goals against average, which just really shows you how great this goalie group has been doing so far this year. Vegas has also averaged that number of 2.17 while facing the 13th highest shots in the league. Now, they were averaging a 2 goals against average entering this Avalanche game with like the 7th most shots faced. So they definitely didn't face, a ton of shots comparative to how many shots were allowed in to keep the number so high. But the fact that they're third in the league in goals against average and still in the top half of the league in shots faced total is, a very good sign. It's not like they're not facing many shots and that's why their goal against average is low. They're facing plenty of shots above league average and still have a really, really low goals against average, which I think really just amplifies how good that goalie room has been doing so far. With 183 shots through these first 6 games, they're averaging about 30.5 shots faced per game, which is, right around league average for last year, seems to be league average for this year, somewhere in that 30 to 35 range. So Vegas is already seeing that number and still doing very good in the goals department. Vegas also sits at 6th in the entire league in save percentage with a 929, which is like phenomenal. Honestly, a 929, 993, somewhere in that range is like an elite level goalie. You're one goalie, that's an elite level goalie if someone's doing that time and time again. So far, through 6 games, the entire team, and although it's only been 2 goalies and Adin Hill's only played 2 games, the whole team's averaging a 9.29, which the fact that the whole team is sitting right around that elite level is a very, very good sign for the rest of the year. Logan Thompson has also become the first goalie of the year to secure a shutout, which he secured in the 2nd game, I believe, of the year, and he was the first one to do it this entire year. And he did that against Hawks, stopping 27 shots in total. Now, honestly, this goalie room has been very good, but I still think they're being very hard on themselves. Logan Thompson was not cutting himself any slack after that Avalanche game and saying that he allowed a goal that shouldn't have went in by any means. And the fact is, he only let in 3 goals, and he's already saying that in a loss. He definitely, the whole goalie room just really wants this team to win, and they've been doing a great job at it. I think that if they can continue something like this, they're going to definitely be in the top part of the West. But if they can continue this long term at this level, I mean, this goalie tandem might be one of the best in the entire league. Next thing I want to talk about here is going to be, there's been some great early season performances by individual players as well as a team as a whole. In game one, Mark Stone would hit the game-winning shot with less than a minute left. We already saw the rookie Paul Cotter surprise many by making the roster and securing his first goal of his career in only his second game. And although it seems like he's kind of getting moved back out of the rotation a little bit, the fact that he did that in his second game is a good sign for what he can be for the future. Jonathan Marchessault also went out and dropped 2 goals in the game against the Kraken. And, fun fact for, I mentioned Jonathan Marchessault because I think with that big contract, a lot of people weren't sure how great he was going to be this year. So it was good to see him get those 2 goals. But there's been 7 different Vegas Golden Knights players so far this year through 6 games. 7 different players who have secured a 2-point game. 2-point, whether that be 2 goals, 2 assists, a goal and an assist, however it may fall, there's been 7 different players that have secured a 2-point game. Those being Jonathan Marchessault when he had 2 points against the Kraken and was just right off that hat trick. You also have Chandler Stevenson, Alex Pietrangelo, William Karlsson, Jack Eichel, who also almost had a hat trick if he didn't miss the open net, Mark Stone, and Shea Theodore. All of those 7 players have individually had a 2-point game. And in total, there's been 12 performances of 2-point games, which means that some of these players in here have had multiple 2-point games. Jack Eichel being one of those. I think Stone, Karlsson, and I think Pietrangelo. Plenty of these guys have already had multiple 2-point performances this year, which is, really, that's really good to see the fact that these guys are already getting on a roll very early in the year. And in Game 5, we also saw Eichel had those 2 goals here. And in that last game, the most recent one against the Colorado Avalanche, we still got, I think, like 2 or 3 players in Eichel and somebody else that had 2-point games, but the team wasn't able to, crawl back into the game, losing 3-2. But overall, the team as a whole, as well as the players, have been performing at a very good level. And once again, we have seen another hot start for a brand new coach for this team. As I mentioned in previous videos where we were talking about the coaching, every time a new coach has joined the Vegas Golden Knights, they have immediately done good with this team. The very first year, we see the team make the finals. And then when you bring in Pete DeBoer, they make the conference finals. And each of those 2 previous times, those were new coaches just arriving, and they do make it that far each time. With Cassidy now joining, once again, the team responded immediately, starting with, a really, really good record. What was it? Now they're 4-2. They were 2-0, I want to say, and then they made it to 4-1, and they just lost the most recent one to the Avalanche. So they definitely started very, very good, getting a shutout in there, getting consistent shots, and not being scared to use their body, which was a thing last year that I think this team was kind of lacking, was being able to use that body. Maybe they're not getting so many hits as, they're getting a pretty good amount, but maybe not as many as some people predicted. They're still willing to use their body to keep people away from the puck, to go get the puck themselves, which is a very good sign. Now, one thing that has kind of got a little bit worse, and although it's early in the season, it could change a lot, is when Bruce Cassidy was brought in, a lot of people thought that the power play was going to go up. And I think after 5 games, it was technically up. I think it was at 8-8. Last year was 18-4. 18-8. Last year was 18-4. But I think after that Avalanche game, Vegas dropped to like a 17-3, 17-5, somewhere in that range. So they're slightly below last year's power play percentage totals. But like I said, it's very early on the year, and they already were above it at one point. Now they're below it. They'll probably end the year somewhere a little bit above, honestly. I think it's because the Avalanche are one of the best PKs in the entire league. So the fact that they dropped a little bit, not too big of a surprise there. But the team also seems to be responding very well underneath Bruce Cassidy so far, and he's done a good job coaching up some of these players, some of these younger guys, to make them a little bit more effective. Showing them to use their body, be smart in the power play. It seems like the puck's getting moved a lot better. I think the same amount, but some of the passes are just a little bit better, a little bit more crisp. And I think that does have something to do with coaching. And the team has the second lowest penalty minutes in the entire league with only 32 through 6 games. Last year, I want to say they were right around league average for penalties against them for total minutes. And the fact that they're second in the entire league just shows that as a team, as coaching, they're very disciplined, which is, a good sign to see. The more often that you are even strength or above strength and you're on the power play, the better chance you have to win. When you're not on the penalty kill, you're in a better position to win. And so far, it seems like Bruce Cassidy has done a good job at showing this team and, trying to keep them in a position where they can consistently win these games. That's what seems like has happened so far. But I mean, we're only 6 games in. There's not a whole lot to take away from any of these games. There's nothing crazy outside of the shutout early on. But, so far this team has looked very good. At 4-2 and had the potential to be 5-1. I think they're doing very, very good. There's a game tonight, but what do you guys think so far about this team so far at 4-2? Do you think they're going to keep on this pace where they're a 2-to-1 ratio of winning? Do you think they'll slow down a little bit? Where do you think they'll land in playoffs? I know it's really early on, but it's good to speculate. What do you guys think? If you enjoy this content, please like and subscribe. It truly means the world to me. And as always, hope you taught something today. Hope it made you smile. Hope it made you laugh. Something really important to me. Affects my day in a great way, because every single day can be a great day if you all just put in the effort. And as always, you guys all be safe out there. But something deep